everyone, it's Clarice, this is Clarice Reads, and it's also 2016, so happy New Year to all of you. I hope 2015 has been great to you, and also that 2016 is going to be even better. I have high hopes. I have a lot of things to look forward to this year, and also a lot of things that I hope to accomplish this year. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my reading resolutions for 2016. This year I hope to discover some new authors and books, also to experience new things, and just generally be able to immerse myself in some really good books that are going to make a lasting impact on me for the years to come. So to accomplish those things, I have 6 main reading goals that I'm going to share with you. My first goal is to read more books by Philippine authors. I have 2 main reasons for wanting to accomplish this year. The first being that I just want to be able to learn more about my own culture through learning about its history, its mythology, and those sorts of things through books. And I also just want to be able to support local authors and artists because I know that they're great and I haven't read enough of their stuff. So I really want to get around to doing that this year. By the end of the year, I will, at the very least, have read the local literature that I already own at the present moment, namely volumes 5 and 6 in the 13 comic book series by Budgetan and Cajo Baldissimo, the first 3 books in the Rosales Saga by Echanil Jose, as well as volume 1 of Mythspace by Paolo Chiquiamco. My second resolution is to read more nonfiction. As someone that reads mainly fiction, I feel that nonfiction is this whole other alien world, kind of scary and different, but also an opportunity to learn a lot more, and so I don't want to miss out. I feel like I read a good amount of nonfiction last year in 2015, but I just want to be able to continue that this year by reading some more nonfiction. I will read at least 5 nonfiction books this year, which should not be a problem since I read about 10 last year. And among the ones that I already own are Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain, as well as The Complete Mouse by Art Spiegelman, which is a graphic memoir that I've been wanting to read for a long time, so I should probably get to it soon. My third reading resolution is I want to borrow books from the library because I've been at university for 2.5 years or so as of right now, and yet I've never borrowed a book from the university library for non-academic reasons, which is ridiculous, so I might as well make use of the resources that I have and borrow some books. So this year, as long as it's an option, I will borrow a book instead of buying it, at least at first. And some of the books that are on my list of books that I'm planning to borrow from the library are The Magicians by Lev Grossman, since it's a book that I've been wanting to read, but also I'm hesitant to buy since it's one of those books that people seem to either love or hate. I also want to borrow The Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss because that's a series that I've been really wanting to get into and I've only heard amazing things about. The next goals that I'm going to mention are kind of my major goals for the year, the ones that are categories of books that I hope when I look back on 2016 is what I'm going to remember this year by. And the first of those major resolutions, resolution number 4, is to reread more books because I want to be able to revisit some of my old favorites, be able to read some of the books I may have read at the wrong time and may have just grown into now that I'm older and now that my reading tastes have changed, that sort of thing. I reread some books last year, but it wasn't a lot, so this year I plan to reread at least 1 book every single month. I want to reread The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak because it's one of my oldest favorites and yet I've only read it once, which is ridiculous. I also want to reread Wicked, which is a book that I read when I was around 12 or 13, and if you've read that book you know it's kind of mature. And I probably read it at the wrong time and I want to give it a second chance now that I'm more into fantasy and now that I'm older. Another major resolution, resolution number 5, is to read classic and influential science fiction and fantasy books because I consider these two to be my favorite book genres, and yet I haven't read a lot of those books that are generally considered by the sci-fi and fantasy community to be great. A lot of the books that have influenced the ones that I love and read now, and I want to be able to read those books, hopefully find some new favorites, and just get more immersed in these two genres that I love so much. I'm going to be using NPR's Top 100 Science Fiction and Fantasy Books list as my basis for this, and I want to make sure I read at least one book that's on that list every single month, like with the previous goal. Of course, I'm planning on continuing the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman, which is on that list and which is also one of my favorite things that I read last year. I read about half of the whole comic book series last year, so I'm hoping to finish it this year. I'm very much looking forward to reading Brave New World, just because it's like classic dystopian and I really want to get around to reading it. And the last resolution, a major resolution again, and probably the one that I want to prioritize the most this year, is resolution number 6. Read the world. And by this I just mean read books from different countries that I would not be able to read from otherwise, to be able to learn from these different perspectives. I know in the book community in general, there's been a lot of talk of diversity in these last few years and about reading more diversely, and while that kind of inspired me to try to put a bigger effort into reading diversely, I recently also watched a video of this woman that managed to read a book from or something from every single country within the span of a year, and that's almost 200 countries. And while I'm not gonna go that far, I do plan on reading at least one book from a different non-US, non-UK, non-Philippine country every single month. Well, I'm especially excited to finally read from authors like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie as well as Haruki Murakami. I actually already have this massive list of books that I want to read that fit this category because I'm really excited about this, and I like over-researching when I get really excited about things, and so I'm super excited, if you didn't already know, about this resolution in particular. And that's 6, but I do have one more resolution, and that is just to chill, to take my time reading these wonderful books, and also to just not put too much pressure on myself to read too much or too quickly. Sure, I want a lot of things from 2016. I want 2016 to be the year that I learn new things from old stories. The year that I focus less on the owning and more on the reading. The year that I fall deeper in love with my favorite genres. The year that I learn from real life experiences of other people, from my own country's culture, and from other people's cultures. But I also want it to be the year wherein I do all of this while genuinely enjoying myself and immersing myself in these wonderful stories, because my main resolution for the year is just to have fun. So those are my reading resolutions for the year. What were some of yours? I'd love to hear all about it in the comments section. Also, if you have some good recommendations for non-fiction books, from books that are on NPR's list that you think I should prioritize, or maybe books from your own country that you think I should try reading, I'd love to hear about that as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll all have a wonderful reading year this 2016. See you next time. Bye!